Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
What's going on, people? This is Influence. I thank you for joining me for this review. FT-44 Thomas stands, you know, Thomas train. They always come up with nice, peculiar names for these the third-party names. So I call it the not get sued names, but you know him as G1 Astrotrain from Transformers. So see, I have him in the shuttle mode because he comes in robot mode. He's not fully transformed. I don't know if you've seen my video from yesterday. I unboxed this guy, but he wasn't fully transformed, and his legs look nowhere near as bad as some of those pictures that have been floating around. So I don't know what that is about, but say off the bat, this guy didn't disappoint me. It is a little complicated, but it is a triple changer, and all three modes look the part. So there's that. Get you here. Got the gun storage on the side of the shuttle, which looks not bad. I kind of wish he had two guns. I like symmetrical things, but it is what it is. And there you go. While I'm talking, I'll show the shuttle off. So he comes with this stand. Let me show the book first. Got the book, typical FansToys book. It helps a little sometimes. You got this and card. Not too big on cards. I don't really deal with the cards too much. You have this piece, which is his toy chest. You just stick on. Doesn't do anything. I think in the directions it shows it going up. I don't know, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but it looked like it could fold all the way up and become maybe the fin, and you could have a different type of fin, have more breakup. I don't know, but then you have this screaming face, and I will show that. Well, not really screaming, it's really just him look like he's mad. So I may put that on there. Let me show off the box for a minute. Typical FansToys boxes. Very nice artwork. Nice heavy duty box with the styrofoam inside. Not much. Got the train there on the back. One thing I can say, they show this stand, which is one of their stands, but it doesn't come with this stand, which is kind of disappointing. I hate when they show stuff on the box that doesn't come in there because it's misleading. I don't like that. And it says even in everywhere you could pre-order this guy, it said that it came with a stand, but this is the stand that they're talking about, which doubles as the train tracks, which I do think is pretty dope. It has the train tracks, and you unfold it, you fold it up, and turns into a stand for the shuttle. So I do like that, and it just plugs in with these two little holes right there. And I'll show this off real quick. This is how you just go backwards. So you have these two things over here that you can fold out. They're hard to get to, but they stick up right here. The hardest piece to get to is here. You can't really tell, and there's no place to push it out. So you got to get a little something in there to pry it open. Then you just fold this out, and now it's train tracks for when he's a train. So taking a look at the shuttle mode. Let me see. Let me go down a little. Shuttle mode is great, as all the modes are. Underneath, it looks like Astrotrain. He has landing gear right here, and he even has working little wheels on the jet, on the wings, I mean, and they do work. As you see, it's very clean. Windows are paint. I don't know. It looks like paint, but it could be a sticker. They've been doing some other stuff lately with their figures. I think they are using some type of colored plastic that looks painted. I don't know what it is, or it may be painted, but I believe this is all plastic. And I think they did that with Beachcomber too. Now this is painted on, and there are a lot of die-cast parts. He's very heavy, so that's good. A lot of heft to him. I put the stickers on, and I actually don't like those stickers because it doesn't match the aesthetics. Like it doesn't look as quality as the rest of the figure. So I may take those stickers off and find some new ones. I think maybe the white back stickers might look better. I got some of those too, but I don't know. Then back here you have one thing about this. It did have like a residue on him, and I got mad a little because I thought they didn't paint inside here like this one. See how that's chrome and this isn't? It's some type of residue in here. I didn't clean it off purposefully because I wanted to show it, but after this review I will clean that and see. But you can see I scraped it with my nail right there and it comes through. So I don't know what that is. It might be release agent for the mold, which I'm not, I don't know too much about that, how they do the molds and how they inject the plastic. I just know a little bit about it. So that could be what that is. Either case, it needs to come off. It probably should have came off at the factory, but that's a nitpick. Everything else is pretty great. This goes into the side here. That little square peg. There's 2 square pegs on the side of the gun. You can have it on either side if you want. And I kind of like that. And then you have the gun, this typical giant blaster that he has. And just so you know, I'm going to go back to this mode. So I'll be transforming it 2 times. Just in case, but I'll let you know. You don't have, anybody that wants to continue on in the video, they can see that. But yeah, this gun is solid. It's plastic. Like I said, I think it's the color of the plastic. I don't know how they're getting color matched plastic to die cast parts that are painted. Like they're getting exact matches, which is unusual, but not unusual for FansToys. So they do take care with their paint. I can say I have a couple spots that I will show you that did scratch off, and I think that's it. So we're gonna get to train mode. I think that's it. Let me see. No, we got some articulation. So I'll show these wings articulate. They're like the rudders on an airplane, I assume. I don't know too much about space shuttles either, but I like space shuttles. But yeah, you can move them up and down if you want to look like you're doing things. Not much else moves. You got these details. This flips around, and I like little clever things on here. And the engineering is pretty great. As I was saying before, he looks like Astrotrain underneath as well. There's only so much. I always say that there's only so much that you can do as far as transformation cues. There's only so many different ways you can get a product to look the way it looks in the cartoon. And there's certain things that have to always be there. It's always hard to do a triple changer and to have all 3 modes cartoon accurate and great. I think that's a wonderful thing. So let's go to train. Take this part. Now this is going to be probably be hard because it's I don't know, it's kind of difficult behind the camera. But bring that down like that. First you can push this little piece down. Well, first thing, put that down, then pull this up, Push this little piece down. These little things just help with clearance. Then you want to get this out. Now this wing, you can pull out back here. Sometimes it comes out. It's little tabs that tab in. But when you pull it out, then you can pull it down. This guy's heavy too. My arms hurt. You can pull it down, and then you can just get this. You can either put your hand in there and try to pop it out. Then all this be like this. So then you just go ahead and leave it like that and move this. It's on rails. Slide this down. And I'm gonna show you, it's a piece that, yeah, you want to turn it like that in order to slide it. And then you can slide it like that and get it like this. Pull this out. Have this like this, pull this out like this. And that's gonna be for later. So you know. So over here you do the same thing. So a little cleaner. Just wanna get that tab out of there. Make sure this is unpegged. Push this down. It's the way I have it. It's down when it's up. Then try to get this right here out. Then get this like this. Get this up here. All the way. Spin it over. Pull this down, pull this up. And just have it like that. So then you want to get in here. A plastic tool. I just get in here because you got to split all this. But be careful, just split it down here because it's I scraped off the paint. I'll show you where, because it's clipped on right here to this little piece that hangs down. And if you just pull it out, it'll scrape off that paint right there, which I already did. So you don't have to. Yeah, just try to get it in there to separate this. I just use something. Even though I do think this is plastic, like I said before, you still don't want to scratch it. So just pull this out. And then you can kind of get it up. It's tight. These pegs are tight in here. You get all this because you gotta separate the legs to get it right. Also, this will probably come off as well. That tab is going into this little slot that's in there. It makes the slot when you have the legs together. So when you take the legs apart, it'll probably come up. So you just want it to hang out like that, and then it'll make it a little easier. Oh. Yep, there goes the nail. Then you can try to separate and turn it like that before you separate it like that, because that's where I scraped off the paint right there because of this little tab that goes around. I don't know if you can see that, it goes around there. You can see that paint scraped off. It's pretty prominent in the robot form, so that kind of sucks, but it's not too bad. You just pull this up like this. Then you pull this out at the same time. But while you're pulling this up, pull it up here because there's a lot of tension on this right here if you do it this way. Again. Pull this out a little bit and then pull this up, but don't pull it up by this because as you can see, it'll flex. Put a lot of torque on there. Just like this, pull this back out. Now there's these things in here. It's hard to see. that help the legs move up and down, and they combine awards. You don't want to mess with those and move them up and down. You want to keep them the way they are, but you want to uncombine awards them. But you can do that after I show this. Pull that out. Pull that out. Move these. Oh, these are already moved. You don't have to move them. Then try to get this this is really tight. It's really the second joint. This joint right here isn't that tight, but it's the second joint that's tight. So just gotta try best you can to. And really it's hard to get leverage because it's a lot of little pieces that you don't want to grab. So you just want to pull them out. And you see, like, this right here isn't that tight. It's that second joint that's super tight. And it's good it is because it's the legs. There you go. And this is open. I left it open. And that's what I was talking about. You want the legs to be down still. So I'm gonna close that. Yeah, you don't need to open that right now. I just was showing it because it's a step from previous. There we go. So then this is the same. I'm not even gonna mess with that. I'll show it from this angle. Maybe you can see it. And just want to pull it out. These legs don't feel like they're going nowhere, so it's cool. You can just pull it and then just try to push it. But again, you gotta worry about all this, so be careful. And whew, there you go. Then you can start to put all this stuff back. So this just bends in, sort of typical of the character. Bend it in. You still want it out a little bit, and then you pull it this way and put it in around this foot. Goes in. Over here is the same. Just a little bit quicker. Pull it out a little bit, tiny bit. And put it in around this foot. This is extremely difficult behind the camera. So you can go ahead and just bend this up. These are on sliders. These are on sliders. This goes out because it gives you clearance for different things. And eventually this tab into there. But you don't want to do that yet. Then you want to turn them over. And you can go ahead and put these together. It's getting there. It's not too far off. Just gotta try to line these up. It can be a task. I kind of line them up and worry about everything else later. So just line them up, and you know, if you've been transforming Transformers forever, you know, like, it's kind of intuitive because you know how the business is done. Then you can kind of manipulate to get it straight. Can move this down here now, and this goes underneath. So I'll show you in a minute if I can get it up. So you get it up, and no, this one goes underneath. Make sure. No, I had it right the first time. It's this one. See that double hinge? Then you double hinge it like that, so it's underneath and not on top. Then you can put this in, and it should be good. You can just leave it like that for now. And you get all this together. Pull this out. No, you can't see that. I do have a gripe. This thing falls out. I don't know which side, but one of these sides, it fell out the first time. I thought it's like a heavy filler piece, but it's made of die cast, so it gives it some heft. I think that's the only reason it's there, but it's not. It's just in by friction. Yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, don't forget these little pieces. They're supposed to be turned around, because in shuttle mode they're out. Turn them around. Do that on both sides. Then you don't have to worry about if this isn't exactly correct, because it will be in a minute. But you just want to, at the end, you just want to make sure it's in there in that little tab. So then you want to fold this down, and this goes into these pegs right here. Underneath is the foot. So what I do is just try to get it best as possible, and then however you can fold it up into there is how you get it into there. There's one. I don't know if you could see that, but let me get the second one. Maybe a little cleaner. That one was cleaner. So you see it starting to come together as a train. This again, after you can flip these up so it's like kind of filled in, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with those things. I don't know if they flip up or if they stay down. They may stay down to give it a, no. I don't know, it don't look right down to me. But then flipped up, it doesn't have the type of, I don't know, flipped up, I think. And then it's just a series of tabs. Make sure I got everything back here. This piece will fall off as well. It's just on with pegs and friction. Sorry, you can't see that. Then it's a clamp peg. Clamp it into there. Clamp it on this side. You're almost there. Then you get these in there like that. Then you can squeeze this and get it kind of tighter to the body, so it gives it a more overall look. Then kind of get this in here. On both sides. You can't even see that. Sorry about that. Tabs in there. This is still not finished correct, so let me try to get this. Forgot a piece. Sorry about that. You gotta flip, make sure this is flipped up. That covers up that little piece right there. There you go. That's why I wasn't flipped up on this side. That's why I wasn't going in right. Now you got that. You get this on this side. It kind of comes undone when you're trying to do it on both sides. Then you have these things. Pull that up. This is last. Well, no, this isn't last, but then they come out on these like rails. Flip them around and you push them in. Just have a tab that goes in there. And over here you do the same thing. Pull it out, push it down. Flip that tab. Make sure that tab's in right there. And almost done. this part right here needs to be better, and I may have this wrong. I don't think I do though. This doesn't seem to want to go in there like it's supposed to. Anyway, right here you pull these out. It's like little windows. Pull out, flip them around, push them back up. On the other side, do the same. Pull around, turn around, flip them back up. And then these, which are a pain, and I have not gotten them together yet. So we'll see what happens right now. Yeah, it's a hard fit, and I'm scared to totally do it, but you see what you gotta do. You gotta line it up. It's like a real train, or old train, I mean, a real old train. And over here, oh, this one actually went in without any incident. So you have that, and you see they really move consistently with, well, kind of. As long as all four wheels move at the same time, they move. But I think that's cool. That's dope. And I think that's it. There you go. You have Astrotrain in his train mode. You have storage for his gun down here. Fold up the handle. And there's a little clip. And then you clip him. Clip him in this region right here. Clip it. And it kind of, you know, has its place. And it rolls. These don't roll as well. It does fit on the train tracks. Actually rolls better on the train tracks than it does on my thing. But yeah, there you go. Okay, so now we're going from train to robot mode. I think I showed everything. There's nothing really articulation wise. Again, these are the same as before. Jet, I don't know if I showed them off, but you can move them on their ball joint, but this moves. It's not really supposed to move if it stays in focus. Now so you take this off. It's pretty tight, which is kind of scary, but again, I think this is the plastic that they're using, if you can see that. I think this is the plastic that they're using, the colored plastic, and not actual paint on die cast, so it shouldn't scrape it off. And maybe that's why they did it, or they do it on certain things. So now, just to get it into robot mode, you can basically, I mean, go backwards, but you can just blow it apart, like. But I'll show it. There's no particular order, really. Just however you can do it. There are a few things you do have to do. You should separate these first. I never got these to go together, so I don't know how hard they are to separate. Doesn't seem too hard, but you never know. Spoke too soon. So yeah, there we go. And these weren't ever in. Oh no. It just kind of looked like it was in, but it was not. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Get this up out of here. Put this back this way on top. And just leave that like that. These are already where they need to be. You can separate this and work on the bottom half, which isn't much to work on when you're coming from train. Let me put the camera down a little bit. Basically, pull these out. May need a tool again. I'll do a tool just for and these are like, I think that's the flat plastic that they're using with the color. So it doesn't really scare me. It might look crazy when I'm prying it open like that, but it doesn't really do anything. So then you can separate this. Like I said before, it's pretty tight. I'll try to stick something in there. You can just like stick as long as it's not anything metal, to try to just pry them apart. And once you do that, then you should be able to get these apart. The legs are almost pretty much done in train mode. Then you can pull this out. There's a tab there. Move it down like this. Make a little heel spur. And that's, I think when it comes out of the package, that's not like that. So you got to pull, because the first time I transformed it, I didn't do this. So this makes it a little flat surface. And the feet are pretty much done. Move these, make sure you can move this up, cover that. You can make this, just get it a little compact, more compact than it is. And move these back like this, and that's pretty much it. So same over here. I already put it up. Oh no, here we go. And move them down. Get these wherever you want them. I just move them. I usually have them up like that and curled in the back. And then get this this waist piece. Once this is up, the button's here. I don't know. I don't think you have to push it. Let me see. To put it up, but it's just easier if you just push it to move those up. That's what you push to move them down. Push that button, move it up. There you go. You pretty much have the lower legs in order, or the lower body, I should say. Then with this, you can unpeg here like that, unpeg this here like that, move this out. You just start to get, you know, what the upper body looks like. So just peg there, peg it in there, and you can move this back and move this back up. And I move that to give it a little more compactness. Then do the same thing over here. Just move this up, peg it. I try to get this down so it's out the way. Move this, and I move this. Then you're left with this. So just move this stuff up. Move these arms down. There are the arms if you didn't know. Then this is pegged into there, which is a pain. But I try to get this out first before I even fool with this. It's two pegs there. So, and I don't know which is easier. I know these pegs are tight, but it's also this hinge that I will show in a minute. But then I try to pull that out like that. It's not in, it can come out any time. So it does come out. I split these. Now I'm not doing this in like certain crazy order, but I just move these out here, just have them out the way. That's all I'm really, you're just trying to get this done, you know, pre-work. So then I like to fool with this here. This goes in and out a little bit, and it just moves enough to give you clearance, well, kind of clearance on this. And you do that, and then you have this piece right here. Now this is a screw, which is weird. I tried to screw it and it actually, if you screw it anymore, mine came out. The other side came out and this piece fell off. No, it keeps going out of focus. This piece fell off. So I screwed it back on, but I screwed it too tight and it kind of clamped and made it like that, and it won't fit in any of the spots that it's supposed to fit in. So you just gotta, if you do have to screw this back in, you just want to stick the screwdriver back here. You need a little screwdriver and you can get to that screw and just screw it in a little bit. But with it being a screw, there's threads that expose. I think what they wanted was a screw with little threads in the beginning, and that's what they have, but it's not small enough. The threads aren't, maybe they miscalculated, and maybe on the new runs they'll fix it. I mean, they could have fixed it if they just put a pin in there, but I don't know how. I think maybe they couldn't do the pin because of it would go through here. It would need to show, and they wanted it clean on the chest, so that's why they did the screw. More than likely, I don't know. I'm not straight crazy engineer, but that's what I'm assuming. Common sense would tell me that that's why. And you can kind of see the threads, but the threads are too long. The threads stop at like right here, but it still gets hooked up on this metal piece. But anyway, you want to slide it down and you see the threads get hooked on here, and you want to slide down, pull this up. So then you can, you got room to put that there. And again, over here, you do the same thing and you can see the same thing, but you want to slide down. This is the one that came off on me and I screwed in too tight and it clamped it together. But there we go. And then we put up there. Then you can move this down. Now all of this, you pull it up a little bit, pull it over here. Then you can get these arms however you can get them. I usually just spin them around like that. You can pull this out, which helps aid in getting all this back. See how that's, be careful, because that's, then you just want to get that back. Then you can move this all the way down. So then you work on these arms. These arms slide up a little bit. You got to slide them back and move them this way so it clears all this mess. And then you move them down on that shoulder piece right there. Do the same thing over here. Make sure it's not back like that, or you won't be able to move it down, of course. Move it like that. Move this and then move it down. Get that shoulder where it needs to be. Everything is kind of like oriented how it needs to be and it doesn't move, so that helps. I forgot these pieces. They're not full robot, but you can turn them anytime. You can just pull them out and turn them back around. So even after it's closed, you can do it. I don't think it matters. So now we're in the home stretch. These go down, and this is what I'm talking about. It's this thing right here. These can go down, or they make sure they do get stuck sometimes. They're like really tight. It's friction. It's a friction slide, but it's really tight. You pull this out like this. Now, this can get a little tricky, but I'm gonna show you a trick. Once you pull that out, then you want to pull these shoulder pieces out. These shoulder pieces aren't out either. Once you get it in the box, you have to pull it out and pull them up. But you don't just want to put them where they go. You want to put them in a little bit until you get the back piece on. So again, put them in a little bit. Then you get the head up, and then you can get all this. This has nothing to do with anything, so you just want to slide it as compact as possible. You see, it's kind of intuitive, kind of goes. But then for this part, first let me show you down here. This shouldn't be up. If you can see it, It's like this when it's in shuttle mode. It's got to be like this when you're putting it up, because then you got the clearance. And also these little side pieces go in here. They go in here and kind of keep it on, but in order to get it in there, you got to slide it through at the bottom. So once you get all this, it's kind of intuitive, like I said, then you can slide this in and down a little. Now this tab goes in there. So when all of that is lined up correctly, you can move this over a little bit, but you don't want them over too far yet. Once all that is lined up correctly, then you can just push this in. I'll make sure it's right. And see what I mean? That right there clips on. That's the thing. If it's up, it won't go on where it needs to go. So clip that on. This moves forward, like I said before, a little bit. It's about where it needs to be. You gotta try to, you can move these over too now in the spot where they are. It makes it easier to get this head. There you go. Gotta just give it some muscle. Then these pieces go down. There's tabs. It doesn't really tab in, but it's soft tabbed in, just so it doesn't move around. Move his head around. At the home stretch, now these arms. Pull this down. Pull these up. Pull this open. Flip these around. Now when you close this, this is clamping onto that, and this is there. It's not just there, it's here, and that's what keeps the arm from doing this. So you'll see. And see what I mean? Make sure it's in there, or the arm will float out. Then you can just close it. Over here is the same thing. Move it down, flip it up, flip that up, flip that arm out, that back down, flip this up, and make sure that is in there. Takes some doing because it is tight. And here we go. No, here we don't go. I forgot. One step with the legs. That's why he looked stumpy. I forgot this before too. You pull this out, and you slide the leg down, and then you push it in, and it locks it back. It's locked short. Pull it down. That's what exposes the knee. And okay, now you got all his glory. I was gonna say he's stumpy, but that was my fault. And now you have Astrotrain, Masterpiece Thomas. There's Astrotrain in all his glory. Now this stuff can be cleaned up in the back. He's super clean to me. I mean, this can be, and I'll show that in a minute. So we stop the twirling. Yeah, like I was saying, this stuff can be cleaned up. You can either have it up. You can have it, I don't like it up, but you can have it down. You can have his thrusters out, or you can have them in so you can't see them. You can have this stuff up or back or however. But I do think the back is cleaner than any pictures I've seen of the back not being super clean. And it's not super clean, but It's clean enough for me. So now you have that, and let me compare him to some bots. So we have Megatron, and that's pretty good. That's what is that? DX9's Megatron, I believe. I can't even remember. Then you have him with this guy, which he's super big. He's a super chunky guy, but I actually like this. I know it's not accurate according to G1, which I don't know when G1, you know, I mean, it all depends as far as accuracy goes. But yeah, G1 accuracy is scale, I should say. Scale accuracy was all over the place. But most of the time they were the same size. But I can understand, like, he's a tank. He's a big chunky tank. Yes, he's a train in a space shuttle. He should be big as hell, but I'm kind of okay with that scale. Whenever FansToys bring out Blitzwing, I will be getting it in 2030. So hey, and just for kicks, I got the Hasbro version, which is nowhere. I think they did a great job for a Chug G1 Astrotrain, and it's actually amazing. This figure is a great figure. I think it's probably my favorite. That and Skylinks in that line, the War for Cybertron line. Then we got Legends. So bring out a Legend. And I think they did a great job with a Legend scale, even though I'm not sure if it's their own design. But yeah, three Astrotrains. Whatever size you want. So let's get these guys out of here. And I know this video is going to be long. Like I said, I'm going to go back to Rocket or Space Shuttle after this. Just because. But you can stick around if you want. You've seen the Space Shuttle, but I'm going to show the transformation. And there's the G1 toy version of chess. And I kind of like that because it gives it a little breakup. And I don't know. I don't like terribly G1 accuracy. Like it's crazy to me. Some just look, I don't know. I don't like the way they look because of their design. Like I like real world. I like them to add real worldness to it. And his gun of course fits just like typical Masterpiece. Has the thing in hand, the peg, and he holds it well. Everything's well. This stays on well. It's not going nowhere. He's a solid figure. The only thing that flips around, as you can see, is this thing back here. And maybe I don't have it in the right way, but that's how it came. And that's the only way to get all this compacted. So I was hearing that in the box and was scared. I thought it was broke. Yeah, and there's that. Let's get to articulation. Well, I can show you the faces. Face sculpt. I like his eyes. Face sculpt is really nice. To change the face, take off this piece. Pull the face off. There you go. Stick the new face on. Which I think I'm gonna leave this face on. Not sure. I didn't see it yet. This is my first impression for this face. Typically, when you have faces like this, when you have to take things off, like it gets loose. So I don't want to keep taking the faces off and putting them back on, because I've had issues in the past with the mechanisms getting loose and falling, then they fall off. But yeah, then you got the angry face. Like, where are the Autobots? We go through articulation. Top. I know this is a long video, but I'm gonna leave this on too for articulation. And this goes up like this. If you want it, you can take it off, of course. But I'm gonna show it with it on so you know that you can actually articulate it, the figure with this on. So the arms, of course, are gonna hit back here. There's nothing you can really do about that. You can bend these, out, but you already know it's limited. And this guy does have some limitations in articulation, but we'll get to that. His arm only goes up that far. I think they suffered a lot because it's a triple changer. They suffered to get the modes 100% correct, all three. That some stuff has to suffer, and unfortunately, I think articulation suffered. So you got double jointed elbow, however, and that's pretty good. His hand, you got bicep swivel. I already showed the arm. His head looks down, it looks up a lot, and it can spin all the way around 360. And no side to side. Waist swivel is cool. He got a pretty big waist swivel. Only thing is with that, when you get the skirts up, and you can see I can't even put the skirts up when the waist is swivel. So when the waist is swiveled, you can't really get a lot because the skirts don't go up. You can get a little bit, so you can get this leg up a good range and still get a good. So that's not bad. That's not bad, but I know this skirt doesn't come up that much when you use the waist swivel. Hands wise, I was getting to the hands. His fingers are typical FansToys. They have a pin knuckle on every knuckle. That is, real. Then you got a ball joint there. And if you had an open hand, his hand moves all the way around. Unfortunately, when it's a closed fist like here, it only moves that much because of this part. Now you can get this part out and move it if it's for a picture or something. And you can move this in and out a little bit. But technically, it's a no-go. Legs wise, he does have these 4 skirts. You can get them all out, all by themselves. You can do the splits, but it's definitely just, let me move this out. This does hit the wings. You can get them out the way to get the good splits. But it's by friction. So it will fail. But it's good friction. It's not bad. Front and back. Back you can't get far because of this stuff. You can try to get it up as much as possible. And he does the hurdles. A big character like this usually doesn't have that dynamic of poses, but some people like to pose them dynamically, no matter who the character is. So I understand. This you get a little bit more. It is a double joint, and maybe it's just a. I think it's that joint. That joint is tight. Yeah, it is that joint. You gotta. That second joint is tight, so he gets all the way. He has a big double jointed knee, but that second joint right there. See, that first one right there isn't tight. This one right here is tight. That's the joint you gotta bend up. But it's cool that it's tight because it holds poses. Then you have this stuff here. Has a thigh swivel at the top. You hear the squeak. His feet are kind of limited. He does have a good rocker, but nothing up. Well, something up, but not much. And nothing really back. Doesn't do anything else. Toe doesn't do anything. Toe does go up though, I think. Just the toe. Let me see. I know in transformation it does, but no, I think it's just that half a foot. So not really. So yeah, this really concludes my review of this figure. I really like this figure. It's a great figure. It's a great figure. Ain't much to say. Now with the limitations, there are some limitations. I did scrape some paint off right there. That's my fault. but as you know with FansToys, paint scrape is a thing because they do paint their figures fully. They had, did I point out those? I like those. Let me take this off just for now while I'm talking. You can't transform this with this on there either. And that's what I'm about to do. So you can see the plain body and the wings. I probably should have put the symbols out here, but the faction signs, but I know I'm probably going to replace them. So it's probably good they're in there. I'll just peel them off, put some new ones. Maybe they'll go out here so then you can see them more. But really in G1, it's there. What else was I saying? Some of the kibble, if you don't like that, you know, that might be a deterrent in buying this thing. I think it's worth it. He's hefty, he's big, all three modes are great. And there's not much else to say. So if you want to wait around, you can. If not, I appreciate you joining me. And thank you for watching this whole video if you made it up to here. I know it's a long one. And I will get up with you in the next one.
Life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high.
So now that we're in the after credits portion of the show, I'm gonna change this guy back to shuttle mode, just so you guys can see it for whoever wanted to see it. I may do it kind of quick, but I'm still gonna try to do the steps. So I'm trying to stop saying so too. I know y'all are like, he says so 50 million times. Somebody need to make a blooper reel. How many times I say so? But open up that. Like I said, these aren't, earlier I said these aren't really posted into there. Pull this out. You can pull it out from the bottom, like, and then pull from there. Let this dangle. Move this in. It's almost similar to going from train to robot mode because the reason it's similar is because it's going from shuttle to train mode isn't that different. Like it's not that many different steps. It's just basically the side panels, but the way you have the robot is kind of the same what you always do. So now what are we doing now? Now we are moving the arms. With the arms up. Then you can move these back like this. You can do the hands whenever it's up. So I like to do them now because it's not easier, but it's up and out the way, I guess. It's just as easy to do them on the side. You just got to move them out the way. Do that and do that. Then you want to turn these up. And that one's where it needs to be. Then this is, again, move it up. Move it this way. And we can get these arms. Lift this up. Lift this panel out. But also making sure that this comes out too. And this is what's tight. This isn't really tight. It's tight right there. So if you need to get something to get that out, I don't really need to most of the time. But first time, of course, it's always tighter. You may benefit. I didn't even show that. You may benefit from having a spudger or something of that nature. Then you have this up. Why this isn't in focus? You point it up, and the way you know is the tabs will be inner, or the holes are at the top. because it's gonna have to fold up like that eventually. That's why that creates that little hole there. Now you wanna try to get this around all this, which can be a pain, but it's not as difficult as it seems. It's more, you can't even see that. It's more however you can do it. Gotta have enough room for that to clear first. So if you could see, which it's hard to, it's this thing. What's not clearing is these nubs, really. You see how close they are? You got to try to push this up. So you want to move these out the way some. And then you can push this up here in order to get this to move farther this way. One key aspect that I forgot, and I'm so glad I did not scrape up his face, was turn the head around. Make sure you turn the head around or it won't fit in there. So yeah, now you shouldn't have a gap on either side in this. And if the head isn't turned around, you will have a gap. So let's, every time I say so, take a drink. Nah, cause y'all be drunk as hell. Now put these together just to, and now what I was saying, push these arms up, and now you should be able to put this in with no problem. As I lie. So that went easy. Not really, but I don't know what I did to how you get it easy. I just held these and pushed like this way because it's so close to that. So I don't know. Hopefully that'll help you out, and you can move these up, and there shouldn't be a gap if you have this correct. Like I said, well, there's a little gap, but it shouldn't be. It should be the same. Like up and down, it should be the same. No type of big gaps there. There you go. Then you can pull this, merge it with, and that kind of keeps all this in place. Then this is that joint I was talking about earlier. So you want it down like that, and then this kind of flexes. I said that earlier too. It kind of flexes to get this around it. Then there's tabs on the side. Do both sides like that. It doesn't give me the vibes of scratching, but it could. Not saying it can't or it couldn't, but it gives me the vibes of plastic. Get this down a little. It's mostly got the back done. Mostly got the back done. These wings, make sure they're down, because when they're up, they don't move. And that's how you know if they're down or not. They need to be down in order to plug this in later. And the way you know they're down is if they flop up like that. And this isn't plugged in all the way. And I could tell, you could tell by that gap. Shouldn't be that big. I thought it was too big. There we go. See how that gap closed? It's because it wasn't plugged in down here. Then you can move these, move them out. They're just on spin, like spin joints, or a pin, I should say. You can do it now. Might as well. Doesn't matter. Now this back here, I always forget about. Like, you want it down, but I'll fool with it in a minute, because it's a particular time that you want to do it, and right now isn't it. So with the legs, push the button under here, push this button, and it releases the joint, the waist joint, or not the waist joint, but the leg joint, and just gives enough clearance just to go down. And you can work on these legs close. This you want to move, is it? No, it's not right. Move it like that, where it is like with the train. Then you want to pull this out at this hinge right here, pull it out a little bit, and then flip this up just as before. Watch this, it's really thin, so you can put a lot of torque on it trying to pull this whole part out if you do it by this. So just make sure you pull it out by that. Then unfurl this. Put this toe in. Toe in, pull this little piece out, which it locks the leg. You can move the leg down. And then you'll see the other hole come where you can lock it. Then for this leg, you can cabana wars it in. Like I said before, this joint right here is super tight. This one not so much. So try to like bend it this way and then use that leverage to bend it up. Then you can push and bend at the same time. And kind of push it to get it all the way. Let me see. Sometimes I can't tell if it's all the way. It might be all the way. Looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it's all the way. That was a lot easier. As you know, it does get easier over time. That happens. Pull this out. Flip this up, unfurl again, like before. Push the toe in, not the whole foot, just the toe. Everything on this guy is tight as per usual. Flip that out. You see the hole that's in there for now. Keeping the leg up, then you push it down, flip it back up. This leg is way easier with that joint, but then this joint is still. So again, bend it, then use that bend. Now this is in the way. Use that to push it up and cabana wars it down. Then I kind of push it in. I think that's all the way, yeah. Then this is tricky because I was saying before, these nubs go in here and that's where I scraped off the paint. But it's hard to get these in without having it out already and then having to flex it over top. But you can do it. Just pull this down, push this in, do the same over here. Push this in while you're pulling it down. This kind of gets messy. Push it in, put it down. And then now, and this is the tricky part because the notch for this is in here. So this notch right here goes into notch here. And it's hard to get in when you're have it all the way together already, but it's not impossible. So I will show that in a minute. So then just put this together. This is a hard, these bots are, if you ain't never done this on camera, like it's difficult for these big bots like this. You'll see why I did that in a minute. I'll let you know. I just was kind of prepping. Let me put it back down because I'll prep and I let you know. Get it together. Then you want to get this together. You want to try to get it together all at once, but this has enough flex without feeling like it's going to break to do it later. And there's a tab there, tab on the other side. Tab. Did you see that? Tab there, goes into tab there and tab there. And like kind of fits around the train. Make sure this is together right, which it wasn't. Then you can put it down. Make sure everything is good on that front. And pull these up. And now this right here is where you got that tab, and this isn't really, there you go. You can see that it creates that tab hole. And now you want to try to push that in there and push it down. You should be able to get it in because this is on a hinge. You can push that down. Get that in there like that. And that's how it sits, I believe. It's not really, it looks like it's not finished, but this all covers it anyhow. Now, almost to the end. Push this up. Push this like this. First, you want to pull this back a little bit. Then pull it up. And you want this thing to be in front of these wheels. So as you're sliding, it slides in front of the wheels, and it can slide more. So there you go. It'll slide all the way. You got to get it around this kind of. Then once you do that, that's all the way. Then you worry about this stuff over here. Pushes wings, make sure they're back. They slide forward too, but make sure they're back and down. And then you fold this like this. And this over here kind of sandwiches. You can't really see that, but it's like a little space there. Sandwiches that little cut joint right there. Then you want to bring this up. Then you bring this, fold this, tab there, tabs there, tab that into there. Leave that like that. And then this tab back here tabs into the back of the train. There's a tab, you can't see that, and you still can't see it. Take my word for it, that big tab right there is into the back of the big hole. Tab hole. And sometimes it doesn't really stay because it's like tight. Like all this stuff is tight, but it's still, the wing stays where it should be. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Then you do this the same way. Over here, fold this out. You fold this up, but this has to be in front of the wheel. So, and then you gotta slide it all the way out. You get it all the way out. Now you can worry about this piece. And if it don't close, there you go. Gotta have it up. It doesn't close. See how it's over top of the wing? That means this isn't slid far enough. Oh no, it slid far enough. Know what that means? That means this slid down. So you want to slide that up and make sure it's up. So that could be the other reason it's not, because it's not far enough up. And this shouldn't be up like that. Should be in there as you're moving it down. There we go. Should be able to fold this down and tab this in right here. Fold this out too. This little piece filler. It's easier if you do it beforehand, but push it up, secure everything, and I think we're done. And here is the shuttle, back shuttle mode. And I already showed the shuttle. And it's glorious. And that has been a conclusion. Extra 28 minutes. Well, give or take. But if you enjoyed it, it was worth it. If you're still here, and I mean it, I appreciate it a lot. Please share, subscribe, tell your people to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That's one of my goals, because then I could get monetized and have some support for the channel. Then I could get some more bots, even bots that I probably wouldn't buy, to try to, you know, review if you want to see it. And that'll be that. All right, I will get up with you guys. Have a good night or eat or a day or whenever you're watching this. Peace.